Hey Nadia, welcome to 11 Questions.
Hi, thanks for having me.
How many years has it been that you have been writing?
I started writing in around 2008 to 2009. So it has been now about 13 years, 12 to 13 years that I've been writing. I guess if you don't count the childhood years spent scribbling into notebooks.
Wow, that's not a lot of time given the number of books you have written. I'm impressed.
I think there's a bit of passion that has to drive it, right? So I'm
Yeah.
very happy when I'm writing, and that's what helps kind of propel the stories to move along.
And if you were not a writer, what would you be?
So that's an easy one to answer. I'd be a pediatrician. That's what I was doing when I started writing. And I love being a pediatrician. So I often describe my situation as having, two invitations to parties on Saturday night. I've been able to, at some times, be both a writer and a pediatrician. In the last year, I've been just focusing on writing in the last couple of years, really. But both of the occupations have been able to connect me with people's stories and the context and the world and how it kind of impacts our trajectories, impacts the prognosis of our lives.
Do you have a routine that you follow when you're writing books?
I used to have a routine that I would follow when I was writing books in pre-pandemic times. So pre-pandemic times when I was writing books, I would, once the kids were off to school, then the house would be quiet and I would have my time to just sit down and write. And whether I was in the planning stages or if I was in the actual writing stages, I just commit my time and try to, only get up for coffee breaks and a chance to pet the dog. In pandemic times, life has changed, not just for me, but for everyone. And so we're, working from home, which is challenging. Writing from home I have 4 kids who are doing school basically virtually. And so it's very hard to get much of anything done.
Oh, I can't
um,
even imagine that.
it is rough. I think, our attention spans have been strained. The ability to find a quiet space in the house is difficult. So sometimes it's getting some editing done at night when people are sleeping. Sometimes it's sneaking away for a couple of hours to just squeeze in something that needs to be polished up or an idea that needs to be jotted down before I lose it. We've had to be flexible and learn to roll with whatever comes this past year.
And what do you think takes up most of your time?
I will say that this past year has been a lesson in building emotional resilience with my children. I think each of them has processed this pandemic in different ways. And so, our isolation from family members, their isolation from their friends, the stress of how do I adapt to a whole new way of going to school, of learning. We've been, I think, a lot more thoughtful, and I've put in personally a lot more time into sitting down and talking them through each of these frustrations, which has helped me understand my frustrations better as well. But I'm hoping that this will give them a real foundation. There'll always be struggles, and for them to understand how they turn that into a moment of growth instead of defeat.
I love that. I think it's very important for us to learn it early in life because you eventually do have to learn it. So, as soon as possible, it's better.
Exactly. The challenge will come. We don't know what it will be or what it will look like, what form it might take, but there will always be that challenge. And so, since we're all together and we have to be with each other, I've decided to let me make the most out of this and really, do a deep dive into that.
What's a popular TV show or a movie that you refuse to watch?
Game of Thrones, I don't know if I refuse to watch it, but I just haven't. There's too many seasons, too many episodes. And I think there are some shows that I've reserved for like they're on my when I retire list. So Game of Thrones is one, as well as This Is Us. I know people get so caught up in This Is Us. It's very apparently like emotionally moving, and so those are. I will get to them eventually.
And what's your favorite TV show or movie right now?
I haven't really been watching very much TV lately. We did watch The Queen's Gambit. So I do like the shorter series because they're time limited. And so that I know I won't end up
Yeah.
binging and losing hours of my evenings and staying up too late. And that was very well done. The colors, I mean, visually was pretty spectacular. So that was a good one. And so now everyone's gotten into chess in the house. and down to the 5-year-old. So they've been playing every day, which is nice.
Oh wow, you might have chess prodigies in house soon.
If we do, they definitely didn't get it from me. My 10-year-old has been helping me, coaching me.
What do you think is the one thing in your life that you take for granted?
I think there are things that we try not to take for granted, and I would love to say that I don't take it for granted, but in the moment to moment, I think we take for granted just how amazing it is to have an uneventful day, just to be in the company of those that we appreciate, those that we love, because it is so easy to get caught up in the frustrations of, children not listening, or deadlines, or whatever it may be, right? But it is so profoundly important to have these moments, and if they were to be taken away, we would feel it.
Yeah, absolutely. We all need to appreciate the tiny things. And I think COVID has definitely taught a lot of us that.
For sure. I think it is those smaller things. I can tell you, I appreciate my morning cup of coffee. Is amazing, especially when I've gotten my 5-year-old trained in how to make it for me. So it's
Oh, wow. How did you do that?
it was one of the first skills I said, if we're going to be doing homeschool, then this is what I need you to learn right
I
away.
really admire that. And what is something that you think everyone should do at least once in their lives?
Travel to another country, travel to somewhere unexpected, see something you didn't expect to see, taste something different, listen to music that is not on your playlist. I think some of the best experiences that I've had have been from traveling, and obviously we miss it a lot in this past year.
That's what I was
Um,
thinking right now. Like it's
Maybe that's why it's precious at the top of my mind. It's because I haven't gone anywhere so long.
What's your favorite genre of books?
I can't pick one. I don't know if I can pick one, but I love fiction. I think that, within the world of fiction, I love historical fiction for how much it can teach,
Same,
even as
same.
it entertains, which I think is a gift that's pretty amazing. And then I do love a thriller. I love a thriller that I can just kind of escape into, and then wonder why it's so delicious to read about, a murder mystery. I don't know what that says about us, that we love those stories.
And if I were to ask you to pick only three books that you can read forever,
Oh, that is so tough. I might pick Love in the Time of Cholera. That's one of my favorites. The Barbara Kingsolver's book, The Poisonwood Bible, I thought was amazing. And then maybe Bel Canto by Anne Patchett. Those are three answers, but I could give you probably more and more. But I'm really glad that I'll never be in that kind of situation, that kind of horrifying, worse than plane crash situation where I only have to pick 3 books.
yeah, I can't imagine that life. I've been asked this question. I always pick series because I'm like, oh, this way I can sneak in more books into like
Oh,
just three.
well, that's sneaky. Like if you had 3 wishes, what would you wish for? Wish for more wishes.
Yeah, I'm definitely that person.
That's clever. I should have thought of that.
If you were to pick one interesting experience from your life to share with us, what would you tell us?
I was at the Women's March in Washington, D.C. in 2017. I was there 2018. And that was a really powerful moment because I was there with an organization and standing up on some political issues. I had the chance to actually address this crowd. And so I was looking out at the National Mall with thousands of people present, and it was so powerful. I had my daughter with me, and it was an amazing moment to see what people can come together around an idea and how visually stunning it can be, how emotionally moving it can be, how reassuring and affirming it can be to know that you are not alone in wanting something and wanting something to change, wanting something to improve. So I would say that that moment was a pretty powerful one, to recognize that so much can be done by just stepping up, stepping a little bit outside of one's comfort zone, showing up and connecting with those around you.
I love that. Thank you so much, Nadia, for answering all my questions. It's been so great getting to know you.
My pleasure. Thank you so much.